Now, I think the perfect team is Leeds United, and I'll tell you why I think that. It's because every member of that team has their specific roles. Kemar Roof and Patrick Bamford knocking the goals. Casilla doesn't let any goals through, and Calvin Phillips roams between defence and midfield like a Yorkshire Purlo, making sure that any opposition attacks are foiled. And what we're going to look at in today's video is how Belbin suggested teams should be formed. What kind of individual mix of characteristics do you need in a team to make it successful? Let's have a look and see what we can find out. Now, what characteristics do you think make up would you find in the best performing teams? Would every member of the team have to be the brightest? Would every member of the team have to have the most analytical mind? Well, that's what Meredith Belbin believed when he began researching what made the perfect characteristics in a team. But in fact, when he grouped the brightest people together with the sharpest analytical minds, he found that they often came bottom of the team tasks that he set them. So he actually labelled this the Apollo syndrome. In fact, what he found, the key to high-performing teams, was that each individual has different natural roles when they're part of a team. And what Belbin said was the best teams have a mix of these roles. So then Belbin set about identifying the roles that people take when they work in teams. And he split them into three: people, thinking, action. And then what we see here, each of these three categories has three personality types under them. So what we're looking is a mixture of people, thinking, and action. So we're going to look first of all at number one, and this is the coordinator or the chair. And this is the person that is a natural leader who prefers guiding and supporting and coordinating the team's effort. Another role under the people category is resource investigator, and this role, this person that occupies this role, brings new contacts, the ideas and developments to the group. And we might think of them as being really good networkers who knows who to turn to or where to go to get the things done effectively that the team needs to achieve. And the third person is the team worker. And this is the person that just holds the team together by making sure they're really supportive. So then we're going to go to thinking. And the first of the thinking is a plant. Okay, and I'm not talking about house plants, but the reason there's a little light bulb icon next to it is it's because it's the source of ideas. This person is the source of original ideas and proposals. That's why you think of a light bulb going off when you think of this role. And the number two of thinking is the monitor or the evaluator. And this is the person who analyzes and evaluates ideas and looks to see any flaws in arguments. So we can think of them as really rational thinkers. And then the third of the thinking characteristics is specialist. So this would be the technical person who, if the team were working on a project that's especially technical, would solve the technical problems. And then we move on to our third category, which is action. And the first of those is a shaper. And this is a person who just gets things done. They're focused on doing. The second in action is the complete finisher. And this is the person who makes sure all the details are done, ticks the checklist boxes, worries about schedules, and makes sure that every little task gets finished. And the last of Belbin's roles is the implementer. And this is the practical person that gets things done quickly and efficiently. So there we've got our three groups of roles. So, for a moment, let's choose one of these categories. Let's think back to Dr. Belbin's experiments. He said that the brightest people, the most rational, he assumed that they'd be the best group and would achieve all the tasks first. So let's imagine that, though, we're not sure, but let's imagine that the people he's tested were all plants. Now, we know plants are the original thinkers and proposals, so you can imagine the flash of brilliance they all have. Now, imagine a team that consisted entirely of plants. How do you think it would do? Can you see any negatives in a team that just consists of plants? Well, I mean, I can. To begin with, they would have amazing ideas, really original ideas. But then, have they got anyone that would see the possible flaws in their ideas? Maybe they would need a monitor or an evaluator to check and analyze and evaluate all the ideas. And then, if they've had these ideas, how would they then organize them? How would they put them to steps so they're achieved? Because they haven't got a coordinator. Now, possibly they would all argue about who was doing what, because they haven't got any implementers or team workers, complete finishers or shapers. Can we see that teams are requiring a mix of people, all that have a specific job, and all jobs are important in terms of the project? It's not just about having a brilliant idea, it's making sure that idea is activated, achieved, and finished. So what we can see, hopefully, is that establishing a mix of roles in a team is vital. But it rarely happens. So what we're going to look at now is 6 reasons for team failure. And the first of those is the lack of understanding of its importance. And what we mean here is people don't realize the importance of having a mix of characters in a team. We've just seen, haven't we, how vital it is that there are different roles to carry off bits of the project. When you're planning a project, you might think, well, we need someone with those brilliant ideas, and not really think that you need someone that's going to just make sure everything's ticked off at the end. But actually, that's a really vital thing in project managing. The next stage is the size. So often teams are too small. If you think back to our first section, we defined teams as being a small group of people. But in fact, if it's too small, you can see that probably you won't get the right mix of roles in. So you'd be focused, maybe you'd have too many plants and there wouldn't be enough room in the team for resource investigators or implementers. A lack of time, just a simple project failing is just the fact there's never enough time or not enough time planned, so that results in teams failing. And number 4 is the unavailability. So people just have the different skills may not be available. They might not be able to select the members that complement each other the best at that specific time. And then, of course, perhaps the team are selected based on a misunderstanding of what actually is needed from the task, and what's actually needed from the task, the people that are needed for the task, isn't needed until much further on in the project when it's too late. So there we go. That's Belbin's team roles. That's how to form the perfect team, and also some reasons for failure within a team. Now, I hope you find that really useful for your CIMA studies, as well as something really useful to fall back on later on in your career. And if you want to keep getting these short but useful videos, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Thanks very much.